What's up, everybody? On today's video, we're going to be looking at the Manatee County Sheriff Dispatch log for today and showing you on the map where these crimes took place. Now, there's been about 500 individual crimes logged in today. Obviously, we're not going to go look through every single one of them, but we'll look at the most interesting crimes in the log from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, and we will figure out exactly where some of the worst crimes that took place today. And keep in mind, these are just reported dispatch calls. That doesn't mean that these results are conclusive. The first thing is a burglary just occurred in the Ellington area on 25th Street East. As you can see, it's a beautiful gated community. Apparently, you can see there's a gate in the front here, and they look like beautiful new homes, and apparently there's a burglary. Okay, the second crime we have today is an area you're going to get used to seeing in this video. Here is Bradenton, Florida, and you can see that this area here towards the center of Bradenton is a hotspot for crime, and in this apparent apartment complex, a vehicle was stolen. We don't have any more details than that, and there isn't a street view here because it's within a community. But let's try to drop the Street View logo somewhere near the entrance of the community. You can see it's a very large apartment complex, and somebody allegedly stole a vehicle from here. Even though there is a gate guard, you can see it's a gated apartment complex. Our third scenario takes us to the far eastern suburbs of Bradenton, way off between Parish and Lakewood Ranch. You can see it's a rural area. There's new communities popping up here, but there's a lot of beautiful farmland. At this address here, a loose farm animal, perhaps one of these cows in this field, got out. You can see there's horses here and there's cattle fields, and my guess is that somehow either a horse or a cow was loose in this community of East Bradenton. Our next crime scene is an overdose or poisoning. They don't specify either or, but we can pretty much assume that most of these poisoning or overdose are going to be overdose. This is the community in where it happens, and unfortunately, a disturbing amount of poisoning or overdoses happen in the Bradenton area. Living here in Bradenton, I can almost assure you that it's most likely an overdose. You can see it's kind of a rough-looking inner-city neighborhood, and unfortunately, here in Bradenton, we have a lot of overdoses. Alright guys, the next crime is a burglary in progress in Lakewood Ranch. This is the area that I live in. As you can see, it's a beautiful apartment complex, nice clubhouse with a pool, beautiful palm trees. Me living in this area, it's surprising that we would have a burglary in progress here in Lakewood Ranch today. I live in this community and I've never seen a single sign of crime, but just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And even in beautiful Lakewood Ranch where I live, burglaries take place. And in some parts of Bradenton, crime starts early. This one is actually a Sarasota address, but it's in Manatee County's list. At 8:40 in the morning, a parking violation occurred in front of this home. You can see they have a beautiful lighthouse mailbox, beautiful palm trees, and they have been putting posts right here on their grass to keep people from parking here. For some reason, people like to park their vehicles here, and then people of this community have had enough. Enough with parking violations. You can see they've put their posts here on their front yard to keep people from parking on their grass. This huge, beautiful driveway belongs to this house right here and this house only, and anybody parking here will be promptly towed away. Well, this apartment complex is quite the gem. We're back here again, this time for a burglary. Not sure if it's related to the first incident or not, but we can see that here on the intersection of Cortez and 26, crime is living up to its full potential. And there is, on this corner here, a mobile home park that's known for a lot of crime activity. These mobile home parks here in Bradenton are some of the roughest in the country. Any adjacent communities could possibly have spillover crime from these mobile homes here. And we have a burglary, again in South Bradenton, the same little area. I tell you what, there was a burglary reported right here in this mobile home. Let's drop the street view and take a look. Somewhere in here we had a burglary. You can see they have a beautiful white Yukon here. Wow, that is a huge tree. Maybe the hurricane did that. You can see they have a beautiful square body truck over here and a big giant tree that fell. This area is a hot spot for crime. You can see the Grand Buffet here. There's always somebody begging in front of this Grand Buffet here in Bradenton, but I still go there. But the area is strife with crime. Absolutely just normal for crime to take place in this area. Alright, back over in Ellington on the north side of the river. Overdose or poisoning in this little mobile home park here. There was another report of an OD, unfortunately. Unfortunately, this is a very common thing here in Bradenton, and it looks like a quiet mobile home park of retirement. Could have been a poisoning, or could somebody have taken just too much? Not exactly sure. Either way, a medical emergency took place here. Possibly an overdose or a poisoning, or just some other medical condition. And keep in mind, guys, that this is only the dispatch records. We're not being conclusive on any of these situations. That goes with all of the expected disclaimers. No association, personal opinion, all of those disclaimers, because we're just assuming based off of the reports from the dispatch that these things took place. That's all we have to go by. None of this is conclusive. Alright, at this address off of US 41, just north of the Sarasota line, we have a report of an abandoned vehicle. Now, this used to be a Burger King in 2018, but now a treatment center. So I don't know if are they treating people who are, I'm not even sure. Either way, it's no longer a Burger King, and somebody abandoned a vehicle here. I'm not sure if they're helping people get off it or helping people get on it. Well, if you've ever watched the movie Half-Baked, you know that it causes memory loss. At 11 a.m., somebody was assaulted at the Goodwill at the corner of Lockwood Ridge and University. Anything south of University is Sarasota. Anything north of University is Bradenton. I don't understand why we have a Lakewood Ranch and a Lockwood Ridge. Isn't that kind of confusing? Regardless, at 11 a.m., somebody was assaulted at the freaking Goodwill Veteran Services. I mean, dang it, Florida, man. At 11 in the morning getting assaulted at a Goodwill for veterans. Come on, Florida. Can you imagine that? 11 in the morning, people are getting assaulted outside of a Goodwill. Alright, back to South Bradenton, right across from the Grand Buffet again. So allegedly, according to police dispatch records, a fight broke out in this parking lot right here. They could have gone for a walk to the Grand Buffet, but they decided to keep it streets. Could there be something in the Chinese food that's causing people in this neighborhood to choose the life of crime? Don't think that the island is free from crime. Today on Anna Maria Island, a traffic stop was conducted underneath of this mango tree. We run off into Palmetto on the north side of the river. A mobile home park reports a suspicious person. This quiet retirement mobile home park has to keep a very close eye because not far away are some rough inner city neighborhoods. Not too far away, a fight broke out in an area that has both new communities and older homes within close proximity. This area of Palmetto has both older homes and newer communities right next to each other. While the people in the newer homes don't have too much to fight about, people in these poor areas surrounding these new communities, disputes take place. And in the afternoon, right off of Cortez, heading towards the beach, is a little mobile home park. And another fight kicked off in this mobile home park that can be seen all the way from Cortez. Most people were driving by on their way to the beach. They may have noticed crap was going down at the mobile home park. North of the river in Palmetto, at the Super 8, a customer problem required law enforcement to come out. It seems that when things go south, the Super 8 in Palmetto, managers alone cannot handle the situation. And well, law enforcement's gotta come out and figure out what the crap is going on. And at Hidden Acre Circle, a domestic situation was unfolding today. People were just walking their dogs as this horrible situation unfolded. Neighbors claimed they didn't see anything, but even if they did, they swore they wouldn't snitch. The adjacent businesses have had to take some precautionary efforts to keep the people from hidden acres from venturing into their premises. Let me just guess by the fact they have like 4 different types of fences that there's been some things missing. Not saying the people's here in hidden acres would take stuff that wasn't theirs, but well, there's a good fence just in case. Well, there was also a stolen vehicle in this apartment complex, so it's not like there's just one thing going on in this community today. Could it have been this beautiful Impala? Could it have been this Suburban with a freaking Alabama sticker on it? Or could it have been this Chrysler 300? Looks like somebody recently broke the window on the Impala. Certainly wouldn't be the one with the Alabama sticker on it. I wouldn't want to get caught with that crap. Back to South Bradenton, here's a scary one. This one is a strong arm robbery taking place in this community right here. That's definitely one of the scariest types of crimes you could ever find yourself in. Well, in the vicinity of the job connection, there was a burglary. I guess this person quite literally decided instead of coming here to get a job, to go freaking robbing. In the same building is also another Goodwill. What is it with Goodwills and people deciding to choose a life of crime? Whatever the case, it seems like Goodwills are to be avoided in the Bradenton area. At the Taco Bell on 14th Street West, a larceny took place. Larceny is when you take somebody's personal property. This shopping plaza is plagued with a lot of problems. I'm gonna guess by the fact that they actually went through the drive-thru. Maybe the Google Street View driver actually went through the drive-thru and got some Taco Bell while working. This shopping plaza has a lot of problems. You can see they had to fence off the lake to keep homeless people from swimming and garbage and litter from going into the lake. We were recently in this shopping plaza and we noticed a very bad smell of human waste coming from behind the buildings. Appears there's a lot of homeless people living in this plaza here. Alright, we're back by the Grand Buffet again, this time in a mobile home park. A suspicious person was reported back here. Now there's no Google Street View imagery for the back of this mobile home park. Regardless, somebody ventured back here and became suspicious, making the residents have to make a phone call. With a lot of homelessness in this area, the residents of these communities many times have to make reports when they see somebody who they think is up to no good. Let me tell you that when I lived in Naples, Florida, I lived in a mobile home park that was right off of US 41, just like this one in question here, and it would always be a problem. For some reason, these mobile home parks that are right off of US 41 are a complete nightmare of a place to live. So if you ever want to live in a horrible place, consider a mobile home park right off of US 41. Alright guys, and the final crime or circumstance that we're going to look at today is at another thrift shop in Manatee County. At this location, a trespassing complaint was made. Could it be somebody who had already been warned that they weren't welcome in this business center, or a homeless person trying to sleep somewhere they weren't supposed to? Regardless, you just never know. It looks like thrift shops in Manatee County are definitely to be avoided. And just like the name of this business, you just never know what could happen at a thrift shop in Manatee County. At the Palmetto Solo Square, anything could go down. With an arcade, a barbershop, and a thrift shop, we can be sure that this little business center here is always going to have people that are going to need to be trespassed. So whether you're looking for some used furniture, a haircut, or to gamble, you can find all that in this shopping plaza right here in Bradenton, Florida. This is the first time that we do one of these videos based off of the police dispatch records. Not all counties in Florida will give you a complete list updated daily for every single call in the county. I think it's great for transparency in this county that they give you this resource. They give you the incident number, the date, the time, the description, the street, and even the subdivision in which these dispatch calls were made. I think all counties in Florida should implement this tool to give people an idea of what's really going on in the community. It also probably makes law enforcement's job a lot easier, since people can just look up the case number for whatever took place, saving the law enforcement agencies time and having to find it for people. Manatee County also offers arrest inquiries for the day, where you can see the individuals that were arrested throughout the day. You can see in the day in question about 17 people were arrested. Unfortunately, Ricardo Rodriguez decided to possess gator eggs or gators. They haven't uploaded his photo yet, but Mr. Rodriguez has made a horrible decision. You should never mess with alligators or their eggs. Jose Gomez, on the other hand, committed a murder, a very serious charge. Definitely not something you ever want to find yourself having to face. Jasmine Pay was charged with trespassing after warning. Rhonda Milton, on the other hand, a burglary of an unoccupied structure. When you think about a burglary, you might think about a man, perhaps a strong man wearing a ski mask. This is a female, 130 pounds. Also charged with burglary is Darian O'Neill. This very happy looking individual was charged with threatening to discharge a weapon, threatening to discharge a destructive device, also failing to leave the property at the request of an owner. Trespassing is a huge problem in Bradenton for businesses, as with just a large homeless population, they often have individuals who set up camp. The business owners ask them to leave. Law enforcement gets involved, and after several trespassing cases or reports, the person in question may end up getting arrested. Homelessness is definitely a huge problem here in the Bradenton area, and some of these arrest reports would suggest that business owners are struggling with the situation. It's really unfortunate for business owners that a social problem gets put on the doorsteps of their businesses. But as we can see in Bradenton, Florida, fighting homelessness, addiction, and overdoses are the typical line of work that officers are going to find themselves on a daily basis.